Yo guys, Kabal here, and I'm known by many sort of interests coming from gaming, comics, music, other type things, as well as now, as of recently, bartending, as I have my good old collection of alcohol right down over here. But I think one of the most fascinating things that people get to know about me pretty well is my love for underrated hip-hop. And it was kind of like a weird type of path I went to once I started listening to this type of music, and also a very interesting story. So I'm not going to start from when I started listening to underrated music, but more of like getting into the actual hip-hop genre, because as a kid I listened to people like Linkin Park, Falling in Reverse, My Chemical Romance, freaking Sleeping with Sirens. So like, let's get into the transition from the rock genre to the hip-hop genre. So I was kind of like in middle school, and I was just waiting for the bus one day, and some of the people that actually lived in the neighborhood at the time, I also forgot a detail, I used to live in a trailer park neighborhood. So this house I used to live in, I did not grow up in this house until when I was like in the 7th grade. So this would have been like 5th grade, 6th grade, and what people were actually listening to at the time was people like Lil Wayne and Eminem and stuff like this. And I just remember as a kid they were talking about them because they told me like, hey yo Josh, you know who Eminem is? And I literally just sat there. I was just like, no, who is Eminem? And everyone was freaking out. People were freaking out at the fact that I didn't know anything about hip hop. I didn't know anyone. I mean, I knew like some people like Kanye and Akon and maybe those other people that like blew up in terms of like what I would listen to in terms of the radio, but I had no clue who Eminem was as a kid. So as any other normal kid with access to the internet, I went on Google and decided to research who exactly this rapper was. And I didn't have my own computer. I was like 12 or 13, so I had to use my dad's computer. So when my dad was on assignments, I got into his computer and I started researching. So I did not realize at the time that Eminem wasn't Eminem. So literally, I thought that Eminem was actually M&M's, like the candy. So I searched up the rapper Eminem and I could not find him whatsoever. So I decided to give up on the research and then move on with life. Couple weeks later, I found a track because I would always watch the Drake Sprite commercial that came out at the time, and it was like Drake like basically like turning into a transformer. He had speakers all over his head and everything like that, and he made his track, which ended up being the first intros to Last Name Ever, First Name Greatest. You guys know what I'm talking about. We are talking about Forever. And the track had obviously Drake, we had Kanye West, and then I finally figured out who Lil Wayne, and of course Eminem. And when I listened to the music, I was like, whoa. Lil Wayne had this weird voice that I wasn't really familiar with, and then we had Eminem that just kept spitting and flowing and blah, 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 blah. Like, it was like honestly crazy. It led to my love for Drake, Eminem, and Lil Wayne. I already knew who Kanye was, and I've already liked his music back then. So I kept doing research after research after research of all these artists that are in here. So you could kind of say at one point in time, I actually started to like hood hip-hop music. I mean, I listened to DJ Khaled, for crying out loud. I literally listened to DJ Khaled back then. I listened to Drake, Young Money, Eminem, all those people. And then later on in life, music had started to advance. Hip-hop was growing into a multi-genre different thing where like, at the time, I started listening to Tyler, the Creator. I started listening to Future, Fetty Wap at the time. And then before you know it, I pay attention to XXL Freshman. And also when I was starting off on the YouTube journey, I found out people that were underrated, like at the time, Logic and G-Eazy. And then a lot more artists that came from XXL. So I've been listening to multiple of different artists until we get into the most famous XXL Freshman list of all time. The 2016 XXL Freshman. This is when Lil Uzi was popping off. This is when 21 Savage was popping off. Full on Kodak Black, Lil Yachty. And I was just intrigued by these sounds and finding out that there was a long list of artists that were pretty much underrated, but they were under SoundCloud. Which, for the people who live under a rock, don't really know who SoundCloud is. SoundCloud is not a person, but a website. I don't know why I said who is SoundCloud. SoundCloud is an area where you can upload music as an underrated artist so that you can actually push it out to people and see if people like your shit. And I just remember telling myself, man, this is actually dope ass music. Why don't I show off the music as much? Because like when I go on dates, when I actually hang out with my friends, I literally would play music and they literally would tell me like, yo Josh, what are you playing right there? Who is that? Who's this artist right here? What's this track? What's going on? What's up, man? I tell them who the artist is and I tell them who the track is, because like every time people get with me, they're going to hear a song that is not popular whatsoever. You might get a couple tracks here and there from artists that you may have heard of, or tracks that you may have not have heard of, or odd collaborations with well-known artists with an artist that is not really that well-known. And then before you know it, I'm just listening to basically any artist that had a great instrumental, great vocals, and it's just been an emotional roller coaster, and it's just been crazy by the amount of music that people don't really listen to, and not even signed by a record label, by the way. Later on, I've learned that signing to a record label also basically means you're selling your soul to the devil at that point, as well as like you don't really have the creative freedom to make whatever music you wish to make. So that's why I believe independent artists have the luxury and freedom to make any type of track they want to. And then that's basically kind of been where my love of music basically has come from. It went from people telling me what hip hop was, to listening to artists that was big at the time, to now just listening to artists that is basically full-on multi-genres. Like I'm learning about lots of genres like sad boy, trap metal, alt trap, alternative rap, freaking hyper pop now. It's just been honestly truly amazing. And the reason why I advertise it in every single video, which I don't think you guys really have noticed whenever you guys watch my videos, I advertise a track now every single video. And also I have a Spotify playlist that I advertise music almost on a daily basis. Like I literally listen to these playlists all the time, so I'm always updating, I'm always deleting. So if it's a track that's in there that is on the playlist, then that means I'm also vibing with it. If it's not on the playlist anymore, then most likely I have deleted it. And I also did not realize there are a plethora of YouTubers that also advertise underrated music, as well as the two well-known ones like Tommy Craze as well as Patrick CC. Patrick CC seems to be the one that I truly pay attention to, mainly because he actually has his own playlist that advertise underrated music. Then we also have Tommy Craze, which kind of supports all underrated everything. And then I also get my music from basically either errands or endorsing bangers or any sort of YouTube channel that basically advertise underrated music. Basically, I live by this motto every time I listen to music. If it's hot, I'm gonna put it on playlists. If it's not worth my time. And I think a lot of other people also agree with this. Like if the music sounds like trash, no one wants to run the numbers. But if the music is good, the numbers will rise up. But I don't know, what do you guys think about this? I don't know how many of you guys were curious of how I used to like certain type of music and then advance to other types of music. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't listen to just hip hop. I'm also used to listening to rock when I was a kid. I have listened to alternative at some points of my time. I freaking hate country. I don't know why people listen to that type of genre. EDM is sometimes a good vibe to listen to. I mean, shit, I used to listen to Monster Cat like during like 2015. I switched from hip hop to rock to EDM to pop to just everything in general, but I'm not going to say everything or else someone's going to give me some sort of like recommendation to like some freaking African music that is just doing some weird drums and stuff like that. I just listen to those types of genres. You guys can agree and disagree with me. So if you guys enjoyed this video and maybe it's something that you guys actually think is like really cool and interesting about me. But I hope you guys enjoy. Just smooch it. Until then, Kabal out.
I got what you need and all you do is tell me please. Push you on your knees and make me beg me for a D. I'm a dope boy.